So this is, more specifically, this is a message to parents and family members of young people with neurodivergence and young people with disabilities. And essentially the message of this is about expectations. Because expectations are a joy killer. They are an experience kidnapper. And so often we put in expectations as if they will improve our odds of success, when in fact they just make it feel like we didn't get to success when we did. What can I expect as a neurodivergent young person? What can I expect from my future? And if your future includes generating your own income, which is to say, you pay yourself, you create your earnings as opposed to work for them. Well, you're going to work for them anyway, but if you're neurodivergent and you're a young person and you're trying to figure out what your career is going to be, you're trying to explore the different areas, the different possibilities, and maybe you have autism, maybe you have ADHD, maybe you have mental health issues, bipolar, whatever, you have depression, anxiety, other types of disabilities, or you're just having a tough time, or you just have special needs that you don't know what they are, you just know that you're having a tough time. What can you expect for the future? So this is reflections for parents, but it's also might be interesting to share with your young people the lived experience of a person who was once a child with disabilities and now is a grown person with a business. And what is that like? What can we expect, right? When expectations are a joy killer, what can we expect? For one thing, you can fully expect to doubt, to feel, to fail, to learn, to be uncomfortable, all fully to be expected. Being disabled is a funny thing. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's interestingly, I would say, is it any harder than being not disabled? Is it any harder than being neurotypical? My inclination is to say yes, but the thing is that there are so many variations of being different. There are so many variations of being alienated from the norm, the mainstream, that it's not just disabled people who have a harder time, right? It's if you're so many things. You could be gay, black, fat, uneducated. You could be undocumented. You could be all of the above. You could be trans. You could be lots of things. And the world is the world already, right? That's the status quo, and the status quo doesn't always adjust to our needs as people that are liberally, I'm using air quotes here, different, right? Quote unquote different. Going back to the experience of your neurodivergent, your disabled young person, differently abled young person, and what can you expect for them in terms of their career and their profession? Well, for one thing, you can expect to manage expectations. You can expect to have weird and uncomfortable experiences, and especially if they go into business, or for example, freelancing, which is not business, but is you're generating your own, you're in charge of generating your own income. If they go into an independent way to have a stream of income or multiple streams of income, everything lands on them. There is no outside boss watching you, telling you anything. Sometimes I do work that the effect of that work is not felt for like a year plus. So I'm just sitting there like, la, 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 la. And I have to just, put the input in with the hopes that output will output reasonably. The message I really want to get across to parents and family members of neurodivergent and disabled young people is that it will be hard, there will be doubt, and like any other person, disabled, not neurotypical, whatever, there will be failure. And shame, punishment, especially when it involves shame, is not helpful, ever. Whereas accountability, this word is really important. Accountability. Accountability, you could say, is kind of like consequences, and it's a way to discipline. I would agree that those are true. But the beautiful thing about accountability is that it's literally accounting. You're accounting for what was done and what was not. And if it wasn't done, then you go back and you count again. You get it done, or you reflect on why it wasn't done. I think with exploring the potential careers and opportunities, keeping in mind that it will be a journey that kind of never ends can be really useful. That is an expectation to manage. It's like there's no finish line. It's not like once you graduate college or once you get your first adult job or your first full-time job or like your first real part-time job, whatever. It's not like there's ever a finish line. If you're alive, you're constantly figuring out. There's always problems. Whether you're young or you're old or you're poor or you're rich or you're whatever, you're always dealing with problems because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's how we get better. Yeah, okay, so let me wrap up. So the message here is just that I wanted to share this personal story, this personal anecdote from one disabled, grown person who is a business owner to the parent or family member who may eventually be the family member, the parent of a person who is grown with their own business, and it's never going to be perfect. In fact, with things like differences where society is like not ready to adjust to whatever this is, it will pretty much always be a little bit more difficult, and building that into the expectation really helps, because then psychologically you're ready, you're braced, you're suited up and prepared for whatever it is you wish for, right? I like to say prepare for what you wish for. Don't be scared of what you wish for. Don't, be careful what you wish for. Wish, have big dreams, have big ambition, have standards. I was talking to a mom recently about the difference between expectations and standards. Enormous difference. Have all that, reach for the, go for the gold. But also, as another mom said to me, expect basically nothing. As she said, low floor, high ceiling. That's how we measure anything, because we decide what is the base of success, the minimum viable success, and then we go for the top. We envision the top, we go for the top, and we also fully accept that there is a bare minimum of success, and that hitting that is still a win. Because the more wins you get, the more confident you are, the more powerful you are, the more empowered you are, depending on who you are. Maybe you like to learn. So, if you're wondering, what is my kid gonna do? Let them explore what they like. Congratulate them, celebrate with them, honor, question, be curious about whatever it is that they like, whatever it is that they're good at. Even, this is key, whatever it is. Because it's not up to you to decide, oh, magic cards? That's not real. You don't know the value in that. You don't. You don't, if you don't understand that thing the way they understand it, which you don't, then you don't see the transferable skills. You don't see the value in learning that video game. You may not see the value in hanging out with friends and having stupid conversations and joking with each other and navigating those jokes. But it's there. The value is there, especially if they choose that goal, and especially if they choose the way they're getting there. That's self-directed education. In fact, you may be a proponent of self-directed education without even knowing really what that is. I love that. A lot of parents and family members. I need to finish this video. So I'll say, trust in your child's strengths, trust in your child's interests, and follow that. Follow them. They will show you what they're into. Follow that. And so when they're going for their career, when they're going for their new jobs and professions, and they're exploring, manage expectations and follow their version of the truth. Work around that as best as you can. Again, going back to manage expectations. It will be hard. It will be uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's life.